at the end of the day, Goliath was a 11-foot giant, and David was a little boy. So I've been slaying giants all my life. And it turns out a lot of stuff that I was dealing with being a giant. So I'm ready for adversity or whatever.
What was your biggest takeaway from what you experienced?
It was great competition. It was a great environment, especially to be around guys that you usually don't go to war with. Different playing styles, but the game speed and the competition is definitely there.
How's it been mixing it up with your other defensive lineman, LT Overton?
Oh, it's always good when you got some Bama still in the house and stuff like that. And we've been playing together for the last 2 years, and so it's always good to look out there and I see Deuce.
Drew Fabianich mentioned this trend of this week is that big rosters, super big rosters. You're one of the biggest guys here. How do you feel like your background has helped you coming into this week playing against NFL talent? And how have you grown throughout this process?
I know I'm battle tested, so this ain't nothing but just to putting that belt on the line and showing what you made of. So I ain't got no problem with doing that. And then I got home field advantage too. And I know it ain't Tuscaloosa or Birmingham, but it's still Alabama, so we good.
When did you know you were going to be one of the biggest dudes on the field, growing up, and how have you tried to refine your game, from a physicality standpoint?
I guess I kind of knew when at probably the age 8 years old, and so then ever since then I knew I was going to be big. I always knew I'd end up at Alabama, Georgia, LSU, something like that, and I had this opportunity right here. Right. So just pretty much just keeping my head down, staying humble, and working.
Is this your play weight that you're at right now, or has it fluctuated a bit since the end of the season?
Probably fluctuated a little bit since the end of the season.
What is your typical play weight? Do you feel most comfortable at?
Close. I'm real close to it, but just between 330, 320, and 330.
What are you hoping to show this week?
Of course, my leadership and how I, get guys going, how I make everybody's job around me easy, and just, disrupting, showing my speed and having some wiggle in that pass rush game.
Most teams run kind of hybrid fronts these days, but do you feel more comfortable in an odd or an even system?
I don't feel uncomfortable in either one, so as far as the scheme-wise, I know I'll be able to adapt to whatever.
You've been playing for a long time. What does football mean to you, and how has it helped you grow as a person?
Well, it means a lot, the world to me. From the structure, the teamwork, and the principles and the discipline it brings is, it's amazing. And the things that you learn from it, that you take into your everyday life, I feel like it'll be hard to, live without football and its principles.
What's something you take away from Bama, from your degree and your time playing into the NFL?
That excellence is a must need. You must be excellent in everything you do, and if you're not excellent, you got to be great at it. So it's a high standard for a lot of stuff.
Hey TK, real quick, obviously the season didn't end how you wanted it to, but a lot of people didn't think Alabama deserved to be in the playoffs. But can you just talk about that a little bit and what that meant to y'all, and obviously made the most of it against Oklahoma, but just the mindset going into that was something to prove.
Of course, the first game didn't go like we expected. In my season, the start of my season didn't go like I expected. I missed the first 3 games due to a high ankle sprain, but God brought me back better, bigger and better and stronger. And of course, the season didn't end like we did, but we overcame a lot, we built a lot, and we've gone through a lot. And there's definitely wins in there that we did something that a lot of people didn't do, especially being in the SEC. You got to put that belt on the line every week. So to do what we did, but it didn't end like we wanted to, it's all good.
Well, you said there's a lot of injuries, especially at the end there, Cuevas, Jam Miller, a lot of people. What does it take to get through that, especially in the SEC, but also heading into the playoffs?
You got to come together. Your leaders got to be your leaders. And you got to get other guys going, guys that usually don't step up. It's their time now. So, next man up.
There's a lot of changes, obviously, with the transfer portal. A lot of guys left, a lot of people came in. Who's some of those players that might have a bigger role next season for Alabama that you're excited about?
Definitely Jeremiah Beeman, D-line-wise, Asaya Fager, who else? London Simmons, Cavante Henry, back end, Zay Pierre, Xavier Brown, DJ Lee, Red Morgan, Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard's still there and stuff like that. QB Reese and all those good backers and everything.
What do you think about that defensive line you leave behind?
A lot of people probably gonna doubt them out, and already put the count against them, and they ain't even seen them play or practice yet. So, I still got faith in my guys, and I'm riding with them, and I'm picking them over anybody.
What do you think about the direction of the program under Coach DeBoer and maybe the scrutiny that he's gotten?
When you in rebuilding years and stuff like that, and then you come in after Coach Saban, like, everybody can't do that. So he's doing the best job he is. Of course, things are, happening that I'm not gonna say out of his control, but it's a part of the game, part of the business and whatnot. So we making sure we finding the right people, getting the right players, and all that type of stuff, and we getting going.
Talk about Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, it was crazy because there's a lot of talk about the Alabama standards. Some people say you lose a game, the noise gets loud. But at the same time, he was talking about going to Penn State, going to Michigan. What was it like just dealing with that noise and being able to cancel it out and just focus at the task at hand?
Yeah, he never said any of that. He never said he wanted to go to another school or nothing, and he made it clear that he said that. Coach DeBoer has been nothing but the greatest coach ever as far as like getting his players going, connecting with his players, and then allowing his best players to be his best players. So Coach DeBoer, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. He was all locked in the day he took the job. Yeah, he under a lot of fire and all that stuff, but I promise you he's going to come out of it way stronger, and a lot of people going to eat the words that they had to say about him.
What's the next step for London Simmons after his freshman year?
Just for him to keep excelling. Like, he had a great year. Like, for him to keep his head down, keep doing what he was doing as far as working and making sure he's staying healthy, the sky's the limit for him.
Tim, why was it important for you to get out here and throw yourself in the fire, even though like the talent might speak for itself like later down the line anyways?
Just to show I compete in anything that, like I said, put that belt on the line. You say you the best or you say you this and that, or are you willing to come put your, abilities to the test in front of other people that, they might even say the better to you or this and that. So, come put your, showcase on the line.
We're going to do a little self-scouting. What's one thing that you want to prove this week to NFL teams, one thing that you feel like you need to improve on as a player?
Just, show my pass rush ability. They know I can pass rush, they know I can close the pocket, but just really not giving them no 50-50, questions about me on that.
You could play like nose, like you're really up in the middle, but how comfortable do you feel sliding out, like even playing like 7 tech, 9 tech, like how comfortable do you feel out there?
Oh, I'm finna bake them, you feel me? they let me get out there, let me stand up too or whatever. Yeah, go watch some Will Anderson tape or something like that, but nah, just be an athlete at that point, go have fun with it. That's what they want. They want big guys who move small but play big.
You talked about Will Anderson. Are there any guys that you watch on film that you try to put in your game?
Yeah, especially from Bama, like Quentin Williams, Deron Payne, those guys, and then Malik Collins, also Aaron Donald.
Building on that, what stuff have you watched that you could play to your own game?
Just as far as like Malik Collins, the way he sets people up and his pass rush, Quentin and Deron. Quentin Williams just is how he's efficient as a technician, whatever he does. Deron Payne, his power, and just his grit and his run to the ball. And then Aaron Donald, he speaks for himself. So,
With Quentin Williams and Deron Payne, the Bama connection, have you talked to them or do you have a relationship with them at all?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like, especially being from Birmingham and everything, same city. I can hit them up, get insight on what I need to, and they the greatest big brothers ever.
What advice have they given you throughout this process since they went through it?
I haven't really talked to them since my process started and everything because a lot of stuff been going on. Plus, they had to finish up season 2 and what all they got going on. But if I reached out to them, they'll hit me back up.
Hey, Tim, when you're such a good run defender, what's the key to being a good run defender?
Mentality and pride. Like you gotta be a different type of man to know you finna get 265, probably 330 plus men trying to put you on your back in front of your mama. So it's like, you feel me? What you gonna do at that point? Your girlfriend or somebody may be watching, so it's like, I ain't going. You ain't finna do me like that, but that's just really what it is, mentality and pride.
Hey, Tim, when you think about your career, especially as like an in-state kid getting to Bama, obviously there's things that were pitched to you about what it would be like. Looking back, like, did it live up to the expectation playing for Alabama? Like, did it feel like what you thought it would feel like?
Oh, definitely. I love my time at Bama. Of course, I wish I would have got the biggest hardware I always wanted, growing up watching Bama, but, all things happen for a reason. And I was able to accomplish a lot of things and able to grow as a man that, I can't ever replace or I won't ever regret.
As a player, I mean, do you feel like when you face other SEC teams or big powers across college football, like, did you feel like Alabama, like that team still wanted Bama, like that they still wanted to beat you guys, kind of in that same aura? Or?
Of course, everybody want to say that Bama is not what it used to be. So we're gonna get everybody the best game. We're gonna get all the little extra, little dirty little moves or whatever. So no one wants to see Bama on top at all. So for us to do what we did is amazing.
You got to see Ty Simpson's career like as a backup and as a starter this past year. What should people know about him, and what kind of a teammate is he to you?
Oh, Ty funny, man. That's my dog. But he's gonna always the storm is not going to affect him. We could be up by 20 or we could be down by 20. But he's still gonna be the same person as far as like mindset. Like, all right, guys, y'all ready? Let's go do it. And I ain't even in the huddle, but I be trying to peek and get the play. But I hear from him and how he carries himself. And as far as a leader, man, he's a great leader. He has a way with words, and when he on one, he on one. So shout out to Ty.
What do you think he brings to the next level? Do you think he's QB1?
QB1, yeah, he's a quarterback at the University of Alabama. Anybody's QB1, especially if you work for it and whatnot. Then again, too, like he's a believer in his faith as well, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So if God for him, who could be against him?
Talk about Coach Womack real quick, just his defensive style, let y'all be aggressive. How's that going to help you transition to the NFL, no matter what kind of system you're going into?
Well, playing under two systems and then playing under Coach Saban's system, of course, there's a lot of checks and audibles, and then being able to just kind of line up and play with Coach Womack, I had the best of both worlds, so I'm able to adapt to anything.
You got to see Ty as a backup, that perspective. What was he like, over those last 2 years under Jalen Milroe, and what was the biggest difference about him this year?
Like, it never seemed to be any secret animosity or any secret, like, tension between them. It was like, okay, bet, bro, go do what you do, or, this is what I'm seeing out there. If you do this right or whatever, it was always helpful. Like, he never was a bad backup. He was a great teammate always.
Tim, you have violent hands whenever I watch you play. What kind of work did you put in to make sure that you have that kind of handwork that you do, and who's a person that you study to help you get that way?
Well, with me being, 6'2" and stuff like that, it's like I ain't 6'5". I ain't got the arm that some of these guys got. Some of these guys can touch their knees standing up. So it's just like I got to make sure I get my hands inside, get them on them quick. So first person, that strikes out to get them 2 feet across the line and win.
There's a lot of guys.
Hey, y'all, last question.
Sorry, there's a lot of guys your height that are making their way into the NFL. What kind of encouragement do they give you to say, like, hey, like, I'm part of this generation of shorter but athletic guys that are able to win with leverage?
It just shows I'm a dog in my heart. At the end of the day, Goliath was an 11-foot giant, and David was a little boy. So at the end, who got the win at the end with that. So I've been slaying giants all my life, and it turns out a lot of stuff that I was dealing with been a giant. So I'm ready for adversity or whatever.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you all.